Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures where humanity always rises. The night over Earth was calm, silent, and peaceful when everything changed in one single moment. People were walking, working, and watching their screens, unaware that the sky above them was about to break the world open. It began with a low hum, so deep that windows vibrated and birds fell quiet. Then the stars started to disappear, one after another, covered by something huge, something moving, something not from Earth. Across cities, villages, and oceans, millions of eyes looked upward as a massive shadow swallowed the moon. Children pointed. Adults froze. No one spoke. It was as if the sky itself had stopped breathing. Suddenly, every screen on Earth, phones, TVs, billboards, even broken radios, turned pure white and then shifted into an alien symbol that no human had ever seen. The air felt colder. People felt as if someone was standing behind them, watching. Then a voice spoke. It was not human. It was metallic, echoing, and heavy like a mountain sliding across stone. "Attention, species of Earth," the voice said. "This is a message from the Galactic Council." Around the world, hearts stopped. Governments panicked. Military bases scrambled. The voice continued, slow and merciless, each word like a hammer hitting the ground. "Your planet has been marked for annihilation. You will be destroyed in 30 days. Do not resist. Do not attempt to escape. Accept your fate." After that, the voice ended, but the symbol on the screens kept glowing. People waited for more, but nothing came. The world was silent except for fear. World leaders rushed into emergency meetings. Scientists tried to understand the message. Astronomers pointed every telescope at the sky and saw shapes, many shapes, huge alien ships holding positions near the moon like predators watching their prey. Panic spread like fire. Some people cried, some prayed, some ran outside to look at the giant shadows in the sky. But something strange happened. When experts analyzed the message, they found something hidden under the main signal, a small, encrypted layer of sound, almost impossible to notice. One nervous scientist, Dr. Mira Khan, isolated it and played it slowly. What she heard made her heart stop. The hidden voice said, very quietly, "If humanity answers, the galaxy will change forever." What did that mean? Why hide such a message? Mira ran to the World Council meeting, shaking, trying to explain that there was more to the message. But before she could speak, alarms across Earth screamed. Sensors showed something coming down fast from orbit. It wasn't one of the large ships. It was small, burning through the clouds, heading toward the Pacific Ocean. The object hit the water with a massive splash that shook ships for miles. Naval drones moved toward the crash site, sending live footage to command centers. Everyone watching held their breath. The object was a pod, dark, alien metal, glowing with strange blue lines that pulsed like veins. Before anyone could send divers, the pod opened by itself. A burst of steam shot out, and inside, curled in fear, was a small alien child. Thin arms. Gray skin. Large glowing eyes filled with terror. He looked weak, hurt, and scared as he crawled out of the pod and collapsed onto a floating drone. His voice trembled as he whispered words that the translation system barely understood. "Help, they are coming, they will kill all of you, because of me." He was taken to a hidden ocean facility far from the Council's detection range. Scientists gathered around him, trying to understand who he was and why he came to Earth. The alien child cried when he saw them and said, "They want to destroy Earth because they fear humans. You have something they do not want to wake." The scientists didn't understand. What did humans have that scared the Galactic Council? What was so dangerous? Before he could explain more, alarms rang again. Deep scanners detected movement above Earth. The Council ships were changing formation, slowly surrounding the planet like a steel cage. Dr. Mira, standing next to the alien child, felt fear grip her chest. The child looked up at her with glowing eyes full of sadness and whispered, "If they find me, Earth will burn tonight." Those words froze her blood. Somewhere above Earth, engines hummed. Lights flickered across alien hulls. The Council fleet began to open sections of their ships, revealing massive weapons hidden inside. In every city, people saw the sky glowing red. The world held its breath. Something terrible was about to happen. And before anyone could react, Earth received one more message. The same metallic voice said coldly, "Your countdown has begun." The screen turned black. The sky pulsed with alien lights. And humanity realized this was only the beginning. The ocean facility deep under the Pacific was silent except for the soft hum of machines and the slow breathing of the alien child lying on a medical table. The room was cold, filled with white lights and worried human faces. Doctors, scientists, and military officers stood around him, unsure whether they were looking at a friend or a threat. The child's skin was pale gray and thin like paper, and glowing blue patterns ran across his arms as if his veins carried light instead of blood. His eyes were large and bright, too wise for someone who looked so young. Dr. Mira Khan moved closer, her voice gentle. "You are safe here," she said, though even she didn't fully believe it. The child shivered and spoke in a trembling voice, the translator turning his strange language into simple English. "No. I am not safe. And because of me, your world is not safe." Everyone in the room exchanged worried looks, but Mira forced herself to stay calm. She asked, "Why did you come to Earth? Why are they trying to destroy us?" The child looked at her with fear so deep it seemed to come from another universe. "The Galactic Council, they hunt me. If they find me here, they will burn this planet. They already planned your destruction, but now, they will hurry." His hands shook as he sat up, eyes darting around as if expecting soldiers to burst through the walls. Commander Rylan, the military officer in charge, stepped forward. "What are you to them? Why does the Council fear a child?" The alien swallowed hard before whispering, "I am not just a child. I am a witness. I saw something I should not see. I saw the Council's true purpose. They are not peacekeepers. They are destroyers." He paused, trembling again. "They erase species that might grow too powerful. They erase planets that could challenge them. And humans," he stared at Mira. "Humans are their greatest fear." The room fell silent. Mira felt her heartbeat slow, each beat heavier than the last. "Humans? Why us? We are not advanced like them." The child shook his head fast. "You do not understand. You are not advanced now. But you can become something the Council cannot control. Something ancient. Something powerful. Your DNA, it carries a pattern no other species has. A memory. A key." Confusion spread around the room. Scientists checked their screens, trying to understand his words, but nothing made sense. Commander Ryland frowned. "A key to what?" The child whispered, "To the ancients. To the ones who lived before the Council. The Council fears that humans will uncover the truth and awaken the old power." Mira felt a cold wave run down her spine. "How do you know this?" The child hesitated, his small hands gripping the metal table. "Because I saw it in the Council archives. I saw the files. They wiped out 90 worlds already. Worlds with the same gene pattern that humans have. Worlds they feared would rise." His voice cracked. "And now they want Earth gone." Before Mira could respond, alarms suddenly screamed through the facility. Red lights flashed. Officers ran to screens showing data from the surface. Commander Ryland rushed to the control station and shouted, "Report." A terrified technician replied, "Council ships are moving. They're closing formation around the planet. Something big is charging in their main fleet." Mira felt her knees weaken. "Are they about to fire?" "Not yet," the technician said, hands shaking. "But they are preparing something." The alien child's breathing quickened. He clutched Myra's sleeve and whispered, "They know I escaped. They know I came here. They will search every ocean, every sky, every city until they find me." Mira tried to calm him. "We will hide you. Earth is big. They will not find you easily." But the child shook his head violently. "You don't understand. They have hunter ships. Trackers. They can smell energy signatures. They can follow the path of my pod. They know the region already." He looked at the ceiling as if he could see the ships above the water. "They are coming." Commander Ryland made a decision. Move him to the deep core chamber. Lock down the facility. No signals. No transmissions. Soldiers rushed to follow orders. But before they could move the child, the entire facility shook with a thunderous boom. The lights flickered. A metal beam groaned overhead. The technician shouted, "Something hit the ocean surface. Something huge." Mira grabbed the table to stay upright. The child covered his ears as another boom rattled the walls. "They have sent hunters," he whispered. "If they break through," he didn't finish the sentence. On the surface, satellites showed deadly shapes, 3 Council hunter ships diving into the ocean, cutting through water like burning knives. The vibrations grew stronger as they came closer. Mira turned to the child. Why would they risk coming underwater? Why so fast? The alien stared at her with eyes full of sorrow. Because they cannot allow humans to know the truth. And because if I speak the truth to you, everything will change. The Council cannot let that happen. The facility shook again. Pipes burst. Water sprayed from cracked walls. Commander Ryland shouted, "Seal all doors. Prepare defenses." The alien child whispered the final sentence that froze Myra's heart. "If they find me, Earth will burn tonight." And far above the ocean, the Council ships opened their weapon ports, their red lights glowing like the eyes of a monster ready to strike. The deep ocean facility shook again and again as the Council hunter ships tore through the water, searching for the alien child who should never have reached Earth. Inside the damaged control room, sparks fell from broken lights, alarms screamed, and water dripped from cracked pipes, but humans worked with desperate speed. Dr. Mirakan stood beside the alien child while Commander Ryland and his soldiers prepared defenses, but everyone knew the truth: they could not fight the Galactic Council with bullets or torpedoes. Earth was outmatched in every way. Human technology looked like toys compared to the alien craft scanning the ocean. But in a locked chamber deep inside the facility, something strange was beginning to happen. The alien pod, the one the child had arrived in, had been moved for study. Scientists had opened its outer shell earlier, expecting simple machines, but what they found made their hands tremble. The core of the pod was not metal or wires, it was some kind of living technology, pulsing with light like a beating heart. Strange symbols moved across its surface, rearranging themselves like they were trying to speak. As the hunters approached, the pod reacted, glowing brighter with every passing second. A technician shouted, "Doctor, something is happening with the device." Mira left the alien child under guard and ran to the chamber, her boots splashing through water on the floor. When she saw the glowing pod, she froze. "Why is it doing that?" she asked. The lead scientist, Dr. Lennox, wiped sweat from his forehead. "It started when the child entered the facility. And now that the hunters are near, it's reacting even stronger. It's like it recognizes something here." Mira stepped closer. The pod's light flashed, and suddenly the symbols transformed into a floating hologram, a star map. Everyone gasped. The map showed hundreds of planets, most glowing with a soft blue color. But then the blue planets turned to gray, one after another, as if the hologram was showing their destruction. 90 planets dimmed. 90 worlds gone. At the center of the map, Earth appeared in burning red. The room fell silent until the child was brought inside, escorted by guards. His eyes widened when he saw the hologram. "They kept the truth hidden," he whispered. "But this device, it remembers." Mira asked, "What is this? Why does it show destroyed planets?" The child looked at her with fear and sadness. "These are the worlds the Council erased. Worlds with the same ancient gene pattern humans have. They called them dangerous. They called them unstable. They said they could change the galaxy. So they destroyed them before they could grow. The scientists exchanged horrified looks. Mira touched the glowing device carefully, and the hologram shifted again, showing a new image, an ancient symbol, circular, bright, and powerful. "This is the mark of the ancients," the child said quietly. "The oldest race in the galaxy. A race that vanished long before the Council took control. They left behind relics, machines of impossible power. Some were hidden. Some were lost. But all were locked, waiting for the species that carried their gene pattern." He looked at Mira. "Humans." Mira felt her breath catch. "You're saying humans can access ancient technology?" The child nodded. "You are the only species left with their pattern. The Council knows this. They fear what you can awaken." Before anyone could respond, the pod flashed again and released a pulse of blue energy. It passed through the walls, floors, and water like a wave of light. Alarms flickered. Devices short-circuited. The hunters outside the facility froze in place, their engines glitching. Commander Ryland fell backward as the lights went out for a moment and then returned. "What was that?" he shouted. Mira stared at the pod. "It's trying to activate something." "But what?" The child stepped forward, hands shaking. "It is calling. It is sending a signal. Something ancient is listening." The scientist Lennox checked readings. "Energy levels are rising fast, too fast. This thing is powerful, way beyond anything we understand." Suddenly, the hologram changed again, showing Earth in the center of a bright ring of light spreading through space. The child whispered, "It is sending a beacon." The ancients used these signals to activate their machines. Something out there, something huge, might answer. Mira asked, "Will this help us? Or put us in more danger?" The child lowered his head. "I don't know." The facility shook once more, this time from within. The pod's shell cracked open like a blooming flower, revealing a glowing core. Blue light rose toward the ceiling like a column. Everyone backed away. The child gasped. "It's awakened fully." Mira squinted against the brightness. "What does that mean?" The alien child whispered the answer in a trembling voice. "It means humanity has just activated an ancient relic. A weapon. A signal. A warning. And whatever the ancients left behind is now awake." Above the ocean, Council ships panicked as their systems glitched. Weapons shut down. Engines stalled. Something was moving near Jupiter, something gigantic. And across Earth, every human felt something they could not explain, a pull, a whisper, a beginning. Humanity's secret weapon had awakened. And nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The world was breaking under fear as the Council fleet tightened its hold around Earth, but in the deep ocean facility, humans were preparing the first answer humanity would ever send back to the galaxy. The ancient relic inside the alien pod had awakened, and its blue glow filled the room like a silent storm. Scientists worked non-stop, desperate to understand even a tiny part of its power. Dr. Mirakan stood in the command room with Commander Ryland, watching the holographic feed of Council ships moving across Earth's orbit like iron vultures ready to strike. Every moment felt heavier, every heartbeat louder. Humanity had 30 days left, maybe less, and the entire planet waited for someone to speak. Military leaders, presidents, and scientists formed a global council, all connected through secure channels. They needed to decide what to do. Hide? Fight? Beg for mercy? But the Council had already said it clearly, there would be no mercy. So Earth prepared its first message. Technicians set up a transmission device inside the facility, connecting it to satellites still functional. Mira looked at the alien child standing beside her. He looked pale, weak, frightened, but brave. "You said the Council fears humans," Mira said. "If that is true, then maybe our voice is stronger than we think." The child nodded slowly. They fear what you might become. They do not fear what you are now. Mira turned away, unsure if that was comforting or terrifying. The Global Council agreed. The message would be simple. Earth would not surrender. Humans would fight. Commander Ryland stepped forward to deliver the message. Cameras pointed at him. Screens lit up across the world. He took a deep breath and spoke. To the Galactic Council, he said, voice steady but filled with fire, Earth refuses your demand. We will not surrender. We will not bow. If you come for us, we will resist with everything we have. The message shot into space, carried by radio, laser, and digital waves. The entire planet held its breath. Minutes later, a reply arrived. The screens flickered. The metallic council voice returned, cold and emotionless. Humans, it said, your defiance is meaningless. Your technology is primitive. Your species is fragile. You cannot challenge us. The voice paused, as if amused. But your refusal proves your danger. Your world will be erased sooner than scheduled. People around the globe panicked. Mira clenched her fists. The alien child looked down sadly. Commander Ryland's jaw tightened. But then something unexpected happened. The ancient relic pulsed again, brighter than before, and the hologram changed. Instead of the galaxy map, it now showed a large council ship, no, the flagship. Lines appeared around it, highlighting weak points in its structure. Myra's breath caught. It's showing us how to fight them. Dr. Lennox hurried in with new scans. The device is generating tactical information, he said breathlessly. It's mapping their shield system and energy cores. This is military intelligence from a civilization far older than the Council. Ryland's eyes widened. Can we use it? Lennox hesitated. Some parts make sense. Some don't. But if we combine this with our technology, Mira finished the sentence for him. We might actually hurt them. The alien child trembled. This is why the Council wanted to erase every world with this gene pattern. You can use their relics. You can unlock weapons older than their empire. Suddenly, alarms blared again. The screen showed the Council flagship gathering massive energy. A glowing sphere of red light expanded at its front. A superweapon was charging. Mira felt ice crawl up her spine. Ryland shouted, "What are they doing?" The alien child whispered in horror, "They are preparing the planet breaker." Scientists froze. Soldiers stared at the screens in shock. Planet breaker, the name alone said everything. Mira swallowed hard. How long do we have? The technician checked the readings, voice shaking. Not long. Hours at best. Maybe less. Above Earth, the flagship glowed brighter, its weapon-building power. Humanity had just declared defiance, and the Council was responding with destruction. Mira looked at the relic again. It pulsed urgently, almost like a heartbeat growing faster with fear. It's trying to tell us something, she muttered. Dr. Lennox leaned closer. The relic's energy signature is growing. It might do more than just show information. It might try to defend itself. Or defend us. If we can unlock more of it, Mira said, we might have a chance. Ryland nodded. Then we unlock it. No matter what. Scientists rushed to analyze the new signals. Soldiers strengthened defenses around the chamber. And deep in space, far beyond Jupiter, something massive stirred again, something ancient, something awakened by humanity's signal. The alien child stared at the floor, whispering, the galaxy will not be the same after tonight. Earth, for the first time in history, had spoken back to the stars. And the stars were about to answer with fire. The sky above Earth glowed with the red light of the Council's planet breaker as it charged, preparing to erase the entire world in one terrible blast, but deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, something far older than the Galactic Council had already begun to wake. The ancient relic inside the ocean facility pulsed faster and faster, filling the room with a storm of blue and white light. Scientists shielded their eyes while alarms wailed through the damaged corridors. Dr. Mirakan stood closest to the relic, heart-pounding, feeling the vibrations through the floor like a heartbeat of some giant creature rising from its sleep. Commander Ryland shouted orders as soldiers sealed blast doors, knowing the council hunters were still trying to break into the facility. The alien child watched everything with wide, fearful eyes, his glowing veins flickering erratically. "It is responding to danger," he whispered. "It feels the threat against your planet." Mira stepped back as the relic expanded, its core opening like a flower of energy. Strange symbols raced across its surface, shifting so fast they blurred into streamlines of light. Dr. Lennox stared in shock at the readings flashing across his screens. "I've never seen energy levels rise like this. It's beyond anything in our physics. If it keeps building, it might overload." But the alien child shook his head slowly. "No. It is not overloading. It is awakening." Before Mira could ask anything, the relic sent out another pulse, a massive wave of blue light that slammed through the entire facility. The walls shook, metal groaned, and ceiling lights exploded, showering sparks. But this energy did not stop underground. It shot upward through the ocean, reaching the surface and bursting into space like a silent supernova. All across Earth, people saw the sky flash bright blue for a moment, as if the planet itself had screamed. In orbit, Council ships jerked violently as their systems short-circuited. Engines failed. Shields flickered. The planet breaker weapon froze halfway through its charge. Council commanders panicked, shouting in their strange language as their flagship shook violently. "What did humanity do?" a council voice demanded across their internal channels. "Where did that power come from?" They had no answer, because the relic was still glowing brighter, as if drawing power from somewhere far away. In the facility, Mira staggered and grabbed a railing. "What is it doing now?" she yelled, trying to be heard over the rising hum. The hologram above the relic flickered and changed again, showing a new image, Jupiter. Its swirling clouds glowed faintly. And behind it, something enormous moved. Mira felt her breath stop. Dr. Lennox whispered, that wasn't there before." The alien child trembled with fear and awe. "It has been sleeping for millions of years. Only an ancient signal could wake it." "Wake what?" Mira asked. The child swallowed hard. "A guardian." Before anyone could question him, a new reading flashed on the screen. Something huge was emerging from behind Jupiter. A structure the size of a city. Or a moon. Or maybe even larger. It had the shape of a giant ring with towers rising from its edges like the ribs of a sleeping beast. And it was moving in response to Earth's signal. The relic pulsed again, stronger, brighter, almost hungry. The guardian structure answered with its own pulse, creating a wave of energy that spread across the solar system. Council ships detected it and tried to retreat, but their systems were still crippled from the relic's earlier blast. Mira stared at the feed, trying to understand. "Is it coming to help us?" The alien child nodded slowly. Guardians were built to protect the worlds chosen by the ancients. Commander Ryland stepped closer to the screen, eyes wide. "Chosen worlds? You mean Earth?" "Yes," the child said. "Humans carry the key. The Council feared this. And now your key has unlocked something they never wanted to face again." The Guardian released another wave of energy, and this time, the relic absorbed it like fuel. Light shot out of its core, brighter than before, and began generating a new hologram, one that displayed a swirling energy pattern. Dr. Lennox analyzed it quickly. "It's a power cycle," he said. "A way to convert that Guardian energy into something usable." "But usable for what?" Mira put the pieces together. "Weapons. Shields. Something to defend Earth." Ryland's eyes hardened with hope. "Then let's use it." But the alien child raised a shaking hand. "You cannot control it yet. You do not understand it. Humans are strong, but this power, this is not something used lightly." His warning came too late. The relic's energy burst across the room, knocking several people off their feet. The facility shook again, this time from the inside. Lights flickered. Consoles sparked. And a column of pure blue energy shot upward from the relic, blasting through layers of the facility and rising straight into the sky, carving a path through the ocean like a vertical hurricane. Satellites detected the beam instantly. It pierced space and hit the Council flagship, causing its shield to collapse in a shower of red sparks. Alarm screamed in the Council fleet. Impossible, one commander shouted. Primitive worlds cannot use ancient weapons. But humans were not using it. The relic was acting on its own. Earth's defense had awakened. And as the planet breaker flickered and shut down, the Council realized something they never expected. They had just underestimated the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Humans had done the impossible. And it was only the beginning. The moment the Guardian awakened near Jupiter, every system across the solar system shook with a force no human or Council machine had ever detected before. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, the ancient relic inside the facility pulsed like a living heart, sending waves of energy through walls, water, and air. Scientists held onto consoles as they rattled, soldiers steadied themselves against trembling metal beams, and Dr. Miracon felt the vibrations climbing through the floor into her bones. Commander Rylan watched the holographic screens with a hardened stare as more data flooded in, mass readings, energy signatures, structural scans, and every reading pointed to one terrifying truth: the Guardian was moving toward Earth. But it wasn't moving in a straight line. It was unfolding, pieces shifting like giant plates of armor waking from millions of years of sleep. Massive towers lit up along its ring, glowing with ancient symbols that matched the patterns on the relic inside the facility. It's responding directly to the relic, Dr. Lennox said, his voice thin with disbelief. It's syncing with it. The alien child stood still, trembling with a mix of fear and awe. The glowing lines under his skin were brighter than ever. The ancients built guardians to protect worlds chosen for the great trial, he whispered. Only one species could pass it. Only one species could rise. Mira turned to him sharply. What great trial? Why Earth? Why humans? The child kept his eyes on the screen showing the Guardian's slow, powerful rise from behind Jupiter. The ancients believed that only one species would be worthy to lead the galaxy. They planted their secrets across many worlds, but most worlds were destroyed before they could awaken. Humans, you grew fast. Your minds adapted quickly. Your bodies evolved uniquely. You became the final hope for the ancient plan. Myra's heart pounded as she tried to understand. So the Council wanted to stop that? Stop us? Yes, the child whispered. They feared your potential. They feared the day the ancients' power would return through you. As he spoke, the Guardian released another surge of energy, this time sending a deep, echoing signal across space, like a massive bell being struck. The sound wasn't heard by ears, but every machine detected it. Earth's satellites. Human scanners. Even the failing systems of the Council fleet. On their flagship, Council commanders panicked as their displays filled with ancient symbols blinking in warning red. A Guardian has awakened, a Council officer shouted. This should be impossible. The ancients are dead. Another replied, voice filled with fear, if a Guardian has returned, then the trial is beginning. The Council ships tried to reorganize, but their systems were still weak from the relic's earlier pulse. Their engines struggled to respond, drifting and sputtering in the void. They watched helplessly as the Guardian slowly aligned itself with Earth, like a giant ancient eye staring at the blue planet below. Inside the ocean facility, the relic opened its core again, projecting a massive hologram that filled the entire chamber with light. Mira shielded her face as the hologram shifted into a new form, a tall, humanoid figure with glowing white lines across its body and a helmet carved like an ancient warrior's crown. The figure was made of pure light, its edges shifting like smoke trapped inside crystal. Then, for the first time, a voice spoke, not from the Council, not from the relic, but from the hologram itself. It was deep, calm, and ancient beyond imagination. Humanity, the voice said, echoing across the chamber. You have awakened the Guardian. Everyone froze. Myra's breath caught. Ryland stepped closer, gripping his rifle as if it could help against this impossible presence. The hologram continued, "You carry the key of the ancients. You are the last species chosen for the great trial. The galaxy watches your rise." Mira stepped forward despite her fear. "Who are you?" she asked. "We are the ancients," the figure replied. "Long ago, we shaped the stars. We built guardians to protect those who could inherit our legacy. When we fell, we left behind our relics, waiting for the next species to rise. Humanity, you are that species." A deep chill ran down Myra's spine. "What do you want from us?" The hologram raised its hand, and new images formed, thousands of worlds across the galaxy, some thriving, some burning, some long dead. "The Council has forgotten its purpose," it said. "They feared your potential. They erased worlds like yours. They broke the balance we created. But now, you are awakened. And so are we." Dr. Lennox whispered, "Are they saying they're back? The ancients are returning?" The alien child shook his head. "Not fully. These are echoes. Old programs. But the power they control is real. And the Guardian obeys them." The hologram turned its gaze toward Earth's sky as the Council flagship tried once more to charge its disabled planet breaker. "The Council believes they can destroy you," the ancient voice said. "But that will not happen today." At that moment, the Guardian fired its first beam, not a weapon, but a massive shield of blue energy that spread across space like a dome, wrapping around Earth in a protective barrier. Council ships fired in panic, but their blasts dissolved harmlessly against the shield. Mira stared in amazement. "It's protecting us." The hologram nodded. "For now. But the great trial has only begun." Then, before fading into mist, it left one final message. "Rise, humanity. The future of the galaxy depends on you." And as the Guardian drifted closer, and the Council ships regrouped in fear, Earth realized something unimaginable: the ancients had returned, and humanity was no longer alone. As the Guardian's massive shield wrapped around Earth like a glowing blue dome, shock waves of energy rippled through the void, spreading across the darkness like waves on a calm ocean. Every Council ship trembled under the impossible power now awakened in the solar system. Inside their flagship, alarms screamed, panels flickered, and voices rose in panic as commanders tried to understand what they were seeing. A Guardian, an ancient superweapon thought to be dead for millions of years, was now fully awake and protecting Earth. But while fear shook the Council fleet, something very different was spreading across humanity. On Earth, in orbiting stations, inside hidden bunkers, and across every nation, people watched the glowing shield through screens or through their own windows as it shimmered across the sky like a second atmosphere. The world held its breath. Commander Ryland and Dr. Mirakan stood inside the underwater facility, staring at the fading hologram that had just delivered humanity's most shocking message: humanity was chosen. Humanity was the last hope. The ancients believed humans were the future of the galaxy. Mira felt her legs weaken, not from fear but from the weight of what it meant. They had spent years fighting each other, struggling for resources, debating their differences, yet the ancients had looked past all that and seen something greater. Ryland steadied her arm gently. "If they believed in us," he said quietly, "then we can't fail them now." The alien child stood nearby, hugging himself as the glowing lines on his skin slowly dimmed back to normal. "The Guardian will hold the shield as long as it can," he whispered. "But the Council will adapt. They always adapt." Mira nodded. "So what do we do?" "You must awaken the second relic," the child said. "Earth has two. One protects, and one empowers." Before she could ask what that meant, the relic in the center of the chamber pulsed again, this time revealing a map. Not of stars, not of space, but of Earth. A glowing point marked an area deep beneath Antarctica. Ryland stared in disbelief. "Another facility?" "Another ancient site," Miro whispered. "They left more than one gift." Above, in orbit, Earth's ships gathered near the shield, unsure whether to engage or retreat. But then, something unexpected happened. Humanity united. For the first time in centuries, every major nation sent their fleets forward, side by side, as one force. Old rivalries were ignored. Old grudges were forgotten. Humans, seeing the Council's intention to destroy them, chose to fight together. A broadcast was sent from Earth's united military network to all human stations and colonies: stand together. The enemy did not come for one nation or one group, they came for all of us. Today, humanity stands as one. Across the galaxy, scattered human colonies, some barely surviving, heard the message and responded. Sol, we stand with you. Earth, we are coming. Humanity rises. Even the Council picked up the transmission, and fear rippled through their commanders. A united species was far harder to conquer. The Council Admiral, a towering six-eyed being with metallic skin, slammed a fist against the holographic table. Destroy the Guardian. Break the shield. Do not let humans rise. But the Admiral's second-in-command shook his head. Our weapons can barely power on. The Guardian's energy is burning through our systems. Then overload them, the Admiral shouted. A fleet that cannot fight is useless. When the ships attempted to charge their weapons again, the Guardian responded instantly. A low hum echoed across the void, and runes along its ring flared with light. It released a pulse, less powerful than the first but far more precise. The pulse swept across the Council fleet, shutting down weapon systems while leaving engines barely functional. It was warning them. Do not fire again. Some Council officers panicked. Some begged to retreat. Some argued that losing to humans would destroy their honor. But on Earth, there was no confusion. There was purpose. Inside command centers, generals and scientists analyzed the Guardian's energy field, trying to understand how long the shield could last. 17 hours, one scientist said. At most 20. That was not enough. The Council had thousands of ships. Even weakened, they would find a way to break through eventually. Mira and Rylan rushed through the underwater facility as the map of Antarctica continued to pulse. They needed to get there. They needed whatever the ancients had left behind. If this second relic can empower humanity, Mira said, then maybe it can give us a way to push the Council back for good. Rylan nodded. Or maybe it gives us a way to fight like they never expected. The alien child followed close, fear and hope mixing in his eyes. The Council will send ground forces, he whispered. They will not wait. They know you are close to unlocking what they fear most. And the child was right. On the flagship, the Admiral finally made a decision. Send the hunters, he ordered. The room went silent. Even Council warriors feared the hunters, elite soldiers trained only for extermination missions. If humans want to rise, the Admiral hissed, we will cut off their climb before it begins. At that same moment, a crack appeared in the shield, not from damage, but from the Guardian opening a controlled passage. It was allowing something to enter. Humanity's united fleet flew through, forming a defensive line between Earth and the Council. And as engines roared and weapons armed, one truth echoed across every human heart: the species that once looked small now stood tall. Humanity would not bow. Humanity would fight. And for the first time in history, humanity was ready. High above Earth's glowing shield, the Council fleet reorganized as best as it could, still trembling under the Guardian's ancient power. But while their weapons were weak and their engines unstable, one thing inside the flagship remained untouched: the hunters. In a chamber filled with cold mist and red warning lights, rows of tall armored beings stood silent like statues. Their armor was dark silver, their eyes glowing like burning coals, and their movements sharp and deadly. They were not soldiers. They were weapons. Trained only for extermination. As the Admiral approached, all hunters raised their heads at once, responding to his presence like predators sensing prey. Your target is Earth, the Admiral said, his six eyes narrowing. Destroy their upcoming awakening. Kill the humans leading the mission. Do not fail. The hunters bowed, and the chamber opened. Seconds later, 20 dropships launched from the flagship, burning toward Earth like falling stars. Inside the underwater facility, Mira, Rylan, and the alien child rushed through the halls as alarms blared around them. Council ships are dropping units, a voice shouted from the comms. Fast moving. They're entering the atmosphere. Rylan cursed under his breath. Hunters. It has to be hunters. Mira felt fear twist in her stomach. Normal council troops were dangerous, but hunters were terrifying. They had no emotion, no hesitation, and no concept of mercy. They were made for one purpose, to eliminate targets chosen by the council. We need to get to Antarctica before they do, Mira said, gripping her tablet tightly as the map pulsed with light. If the hunters reach the second relic first, everything ends. But even as she spoke, the ocean around the facility rumbled. A shockwave hit the walls, making the ground tremble beneath their feet. What was that? Lennox shouted. The alien child's eyes widened with terror. They found us. Outside, 3 hunter dropships sliced into the ocean like blades, their heat turning surrounding water into clouds of steam. The ships opened, and dark, tall figures stepped out, unbothered by pressure or cold, their armor glowing as it adjusted to the hostile environment. They began marching toward the facility's reinforced hull, moving with terrifying speed. In the corridor, lights flickered. Doors sealed. Red alarms rotated across the ceiling. Rylan shouted into his communicator, "Security teams, prepare for breach. Hold them off as long as you can." The reply came with static and fear, "Sir, they're cutting through the walls already." Mira grabbed Rylan's arm. "We can't stay. We need to move now." They ran toward the emergency sub-bay, the alien child guiding them with glowing lines forming on his skin again. "The second relic must be awakened," he whispered. "Only that can give humanity a chance." Behind them, the walls shook violently as hunters sliced through metal using their wrist-mounted plasma blades. Screams echoed through the hall as security forces fired, but their bullets barely slowed the armored monsters. Rylan looked back once, jaw tightening. "We'll honor them," he said. "Their sacrifice won't be for nothing." They reached the sub-bay, sealed the doors, and activated the automated launch system. The sub shot through the water like a silver dart, racing upward toward the surface. But the hunters were already chasing. 3 of them launched from the facility, propelling themselves with thruster boots designed for deep pressure movement. They swam like mechanical sharks, cutting through dark water with frightening speed. The alien child closed his eyes, placing his hands on the relic shard he carried. Glowing lines spread across the sub-walls. "What are you doing?" Mira asked. "Helping," he whispered. The relic shard pulsed, releasing a shockwave that made the water around the sub shimmer in blue light. The hunters slowed, their systems glitching for a moment. It wasn't enough to stop them, but it gave the sub enough time to escape to the surface. As the hatch burst open, fresh air hit them. Snowy winds roared around the sub as it rose through a hole in the frozen ocean near Antarctica. Above, the sky was filled with streaks of light, more hunter dropships entering the atmosphere. Earth's defense fleets fired at them from outside the shield, but hunters were too fast, dodging beams and weaving through explosions. Mira shivered as the freezing wind cut through her clothes. Ahead of them, a helicopter landed on a patch of reinforced ice, its lights flashing urgently. Soldiers waved them over. "Move, move!" Rylan shouted as he guided Mira and the alien child aboard. The helicopter lifted off immediately, flying low across the icy wasteland. Before them, black mountains of rock and snow rose from the white desert. Somewhere beneath those peaks was the second ancient facility. "What exactly does the second relic do?" Rylan asked. The alien child stared out the window. "The first relic protects. The second one chooses." "Chooses what?" Mira asked. The child swallowed. "The one who will carry the power of the ancients." Mira felt her heart skip. "A human?" "Yes. The helicopter suddenly jolted. "Hunters incoming," the pilot shouted. Rylan leaned out the side door and saw dark shapes sprinting across the ice far below, jumping over cracks, climbing cliffs, moving faster than any human should. "They'll reach the site before we do," Mira shouted. "Not if we keep moving," Rylan said. "Not if humanity refuses to fall." But as they neared the location marked by the relic, something massive rose from the snow, a door. A door big enough to swallow a mountain. And it was opening. A deep, ancient rumble shook the land. The second facility was waking up. The hunters saw it too. And they were coming faster. The race for the relic had begun, and only one side would reach it alive. The second ancient facility beneath Antarctica had awakened, and its massive doors slid open with a deep rumble that shook the frozen land for miles, releasing a column of blue and white energy that lit up the snowy plains like lightning frozen in time. Inside, the corridors were filled with symbols moving across walls, glowing panels, and machinery that seemed alive, humming with power no human could have imagined. Dr. Mirakan, Commander Rylan, and the alien child entered cautiously, feeling the vibrations of energy crawling beneath their feet. Outside, the Council fleet hovered, crippled but still dangerous, while hunters raced across the ice, desperate to reach the facility before the humans could activate the relic. "We have seconds," the alien child whispered, hands glowing as he touched the control panel of the relic. The blue light responded immediately, spreading across the facility like a river of living energy. "It's alive," Mira breathed. "It's waiting for someone to awaken it fully." Soldiers secured the entrances as the relic's power spread, and humans across Earth and orbiting fleets felt the pulse like a heartbeat of their planet, a wave of energy that seemed to call to every human colony in the galaxy. Dr. Lennox analyzed the signals from satellites, eyes wide in disbelief. "This energy, it's broadcasting. Everyone can see it." Mira realized what he meant. The relic wasn't just activating. It was sending a message, across space, across light years, across every listening species. Humanity's first message to the galaxy. The alien child explained softly, "The ancients built it this way. It will amplify your voice, your courage, your defiance, and make it impossible for anyone to ignore." In orbit, human commanders saw hundreds of alien species suddenly respond, ships lighting up in their own energy, turning from neutral observers into allies. Thousands of eyes that had once watched silently now looked toward Earth with hope. Below, the Council flagship shook violently, alarms blaring as their systems tried to block the transmission. But the relic's power was overwhelming. "Impossible," a six-eyed Council commander shouted. "No primitive species should have this power. Block it. Stop it." Lasers fired, and Council weapons tried to shut down the energy pulse, but each strike was absorbed or deflected by the relic's power. On Earth, Mira, Rylan, and the alien child continued through the corridors, reaching the central chamber. The room expanded into a vast space filled with light, floating platforms, and a massive crystalline core, the second relic itself. The alien child reached out, touching it. "It will now bond," he said. "Bond with a human. Only one human can carry the full power of the ancients. Only one can lead." Mira looked at him. Who will it choose?" The relic pulsed and projected holographic images of humans around the world, some in orbit, some on colonies, some in hidden bunkers. Energy streams connected them, searching for strength, courage, and leadership. Commander Rylan stepped forward instinctively, but Mira stopped him. "Wait. Let it choose. This isn't about rank or power. It's about who humanity is, not what we command." The alien child nodded. "Yes. The ancients designed it this way. The choice will be perfect, beyond what anyone expects." Outside, hunters pounded against the doors, trying to break in, but the relic's energy now extended into the ice itself, creating barriers of pure force that slowed the creatures down. Council ships fired from orbit, their weapons creating explosions across the Antarctic plains, but the relic's power spread over the planet's surface, neutralizing their attacks. And then, a new energy pattern emerged from the core of the relic, spreading into space like a beacon. It was not just a message, it was a declaration. Humanity, standing united, would not bow. Humanity, chosen by the ancients, would rise. Across the galaxy, species who had been enslaved or fearful of the Council now received the message. Transmissions decoded automatically through ancient technologies embedded in satellites, ships, and communications arrays. They understood the meaning immediately. Earth was defying the Council. Earth would fight. Earth would lead. Ships turned from observers into allies. Planets that had once been quiet now joined in preparation for rebellion. The Council realized they had underestimated humans beyond measure. Admiral Six Eyes banged his fists against the command table. They have awakened the relic. They are calling the galaxy to them. Stop it. Stop them now. But it was too late. The energy pulse reached every corner, showing images of humans standing together, soldiers, scientists, children, farmers, engineers, all unified under the glowing shield of the Guardian. The alien child whispered, "They see your courage. They see your defiance." This is the power the ancients left behind, amplified by humanity's spirit. Mira felt tears run down her face as the realization hit her. Humanity was no longer alone. Humanity had allies already responding to the call, and every species that could fight the Council was now joining the first spark of a galactic rebellion. The Guardian above Earth flared in blue light, synchronizing with the relic, amplifying its power even more. Council ships shook, systems failed, weapons disabled, engines frozen. "You are powerless," the Admiral shouted through his failing speakers. "You cannot stop us." And from Earth, a voice came back, not one human, but the unified signal projected by the relic and Guardian together, reaching the stars. "We will not bow. We will not run. We fight for freedom, for ourselves, for every world, for the galaxy." The echo of that message shook Council fleets, reaching every corner of space, igniting hope and rebellion. Species that had lived in fear for centuries now saw the first proof that the galaxy could be free. Humanity's message had shaken the galaxy. Humanity had become the spark that would ignite a revolution. And at that moment, as the relic hummed and the Guardian flared above, every human felt it deep in their bones. Their time had come. The galaxy was never the same again. The message from Earth, amplified by the second ancient relic and guarded by the awakened Guardian, spread through every star system, reaching species that had been enslaved, hidden, or fearful of the Galactic Council for centuries. Across countless planets, ships turned toward Earth, fleets rose from hidden colonies, and alliances formed that no one had imagined possible. The Council, once unchallenged rulers of the stars, panicked. Their flagship, crippled from the relic's pulses, drifted uselessly above Earth while smaller ships scrambled to reorganize. Admiral Six Eyes banged his fists on the command console, shouting orders that went unheeded as systems failed around him. How is this possible? They are primitive. They cannot wield ancient power. But every moment the Guardian and Relic worked in sync, Earth's influence grew stronger, and the galaxy itself seemed to pulse with energy that favored humans. On the planet below, Dr. Mirakan, Commander Rylan, and the alien child watched the Guardian above as humans everywhere, soldiers, scientists, and civilians alike, prepared for the final confrontation. Satellites projected holographic commands to fleets in orbit and colonies across the galaxy, guiding humans into battle formations they could never have imagined themselves capable of. The alien child whispered, "This is what the ancients intended." Humanity was meant to rise at the right moment. Mira clenched her fists. And that moment is now. Council hunters continued to descend on Earth, but as soon as they approached the shield, waves of energy from the Guardian and Relic struck them down. Their armor overloaded, their weapons malfunctioned, and their movements slowed, giving humans enough time to intercept or evade. Every strike against the Council was amplified by ancient technology beyond their understanding. Space battles erupted above Earth, fleets colliding in brilliant blue light as humans, guided by the Relic, struck with precision impossible for a species that had once been considered primitive. The Council's fleets were powerful, but they were no match for the coordinated strength of humans wielding relic power and supported by awakened allies across the galaxy. Worlds that had been waiting for freedom joined the fight. Rebel fleets from distant systems attacked Council supply lines, sabotage strikes disabled their weapons, and communications flooded with human commands amplified by ancient signals. Admiral Six Eyes watched in disbelief as planets once thought loyal to him turned against the Council, some firing weapons directly at their former masters. "Impossible," he screamed. "The humans, they unite the galaxy." On Earth, Mira and Rylan stood on the icy plains near the second relic, watching massive beams of energy strike orbiting Council ships, weapons being torn apart by pulses of ancient power. Humans in orbit followed holographic instructions, coordinating attacks that synchronized perfectly with the Guardians' movements. "We're doing it," Rylan said, disbelief and pride in his voice. "We're actually fighting them, and winning." The alien child nodded. "It is only possible because the ancients chose the right species. They designed these relics to amplify courage, leadership, and unity. The Council underestimated you because they never expected humanity to rise together. And rise they did. Across the galaxy, rebel species liberated themselves from Council control, joining human forces, striking at key planets, stations, and fleets. Council leadership crumbled. Ships fled, systems failed, and fear spread faster than any weapon could fire. Admiral Six Eyes realized too late that his empire was ending. The Guardian flared one final time above Earth, sending a beam of pure light into the core of the Council flagship. The massive vessel shuddered, then exploded in a storm of fire and metal, fragments scattering across orbit. The energy spread to other ships, disabling fleets one by one. On Earth, humans cheered, some crying, some praying, some staring in disbelief at what had just occurred. Dr. Mirakan looked at the alien child. "It's over. We did it." The child shook his head slowly, glowing faintly with residual energy. "It is not just over. The galaxy has changed forever. Humanity now holds the key to peace, to leadership, and to the future." Commander Rylan smiled, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. "Then we make sure it counts. We rebuild, we unite, and we protect what we've won." Across the galaxy, Council worlds surrendered or fled. The once feared Galactic Council was broken, their empire scattered, their influence destroyed. Planets long oppressed now celebrated freedom, and for the first time, humans were no longer considered primitive. They were leaders. Chosen by the ancients. Empowered by relics beyond imagination. And as the Guardian slowly returned to orbit near Jupiter, its mission complete, humans realized something even greater. The galaxy was theirs to protect, and for the first time, hope spread in every corner. The alien child, now quiet and calm, whispered, "The ancients left you a gift, and you have proven worthy. The galaxy will remember this day forever." Mira, Rylan, and humans everywhere knew he was right. Earth had faced annihilation, defied the stars, awakened powers older than imagination, and led a galaxy-wide revolution. Humanity had risen, and the stars themselves had witnessed it. The Council had fallen. The galaxy was free. And humanity's story, the story of courage, unity, and defiance, was only just beginning.